Good morning, people. Good morning. Hey, guys and gals. Good morning. And how are you this beautiful, beautiful Saturday morning? Yes, I'm just kind of awakening now. So, yes, I got that early morning talk. Yeah, I didn't even have my water next to me. I have my little babies by my side. Let me show you them. That's little Lilac, mischievous last night, Lily, and Lavender. Yeah, we're all doing okay this morning. Yeah, I just want to shoot the breeze with you this morning. It's good to be alive, people. It's good to be alive. It's good to have the people, the pets, or things that are important to you by your side. How lucky I am, how fortunate I am to have the gang here, and how life will present to you things and people to give you assurances. So I'm going to talk about a little bit about those things. Yeah, I just want to talk a little bit. General talk, updates on my health, um, just to get a perspective on things. Yeah, and so some of you know that, yeah, I was have been doing I did it in stages. The keto diet. It's a low carb diet in a nutshell. Um, for some time now, I've been focused on it. Um, At first I started with the chicken, you know, chicken and some veggies, low starch veggies and avocados. Boy, I did that I think for 2 weeks or something. But everything I thought was in order. And then I started to get it really into it. I ordered some supplies. Um, I bought these steaks. I'm not like a steak person, but I actually bought these steak, grass-fed, organic steaks. Oh, no, the steaks I got here, but the butter, the raw butter, uh, raw cream, oh, out of this world. And start combining that, the nuts. Yeah, I did have some of the nuts, but I ran out of the nuts. But yeah, but I had little things. I think initially I had more like little things, and maybe it was enough carbs. It was low enough, and things. And I bought a monitor to monitor my ketosis. I even had a cheat day, and I had a big thing of homemade popcorn with oils, really good. And then I had to try to get back on ketone levels, and everything seemed good. And then this past Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, I felt I wanted to do a fast. I wanted more spirituality, um, develop more discipline in my life, and to break addictions with internet. I did that together. So the combo, the fasting, and not to engage in any computer cell phone, even my uh, monitor, to monitor ketosis, because that would require me to turn on my cell phone and then blah, blah, blah. I didn't want to touch it. I wanted to detox. Yeah, when I get very much determined and fed up, I'm able to accomplish that goal. But in the process, as I told you guys before, um, it was just 3 days of fasting, and the type of fasting I did was to abstain from eating food with the exception of water. Um, Added sea salt into the water, and I did that for 3 days. First day, I actually had 4 quarts of water spread out throughout the course of the day. Second day, I just had, I think, 2.5 quarts of water. And the third day, I think, yeah, another two quarts and a little bit, so a little bit more. Yeah, but it's safe to say two quarts. Yeah, I just didn't feel, I don't know, it was hard to get down the water. Overall, the first day of fasting, I felt fantastic. And each of those 3 days, I did go on my little walk with the gang. The first day of the fast, I felt so beautiful. I just, felt with peace with nature. And I repeated the same thing the other remaining 2 days. But I did notice, I took my time, I said, um, take your time walking. Stop, racing. But I noticed that when you walk purposeful, it seems to put more resistance in you. You feel it more in your legs. So the second day, it was a little tightness. In my bed, I stretched out. I had my legs in front of me on the bed, lying on the bed. And you lean forward, touch your toes, and I cross my legs and, lean forward to the sides, just to kind of loosen up. But the next day, the third day of the fast, I felt tighter. So I just lightly did a little stretch, just light, but the pain the next day, I was in pain. My lower back, the muscles it was unbelievable. So then, so that was the end of the 3 day cycle of the fasting. And then so the next day, when I was scheduled to eat my first meal, well, was mistake number one, what I should have done. Now, I eat around like 1 p.m. every day, between 12 and 1 p.m. in the day. And maybe I should have eaten earlier, or at least with that first meal, because I know I did feel that day, the fourth day, the day that I was to consume food, I did feel a little out of it. Just a little, this thing seemed, I felt a little weak, but I felt fun. I felt fun when I walked, and things just seemed to be different. I had my homemade bone broth made out of beef bones. It was absolutely delicious. And I thought that would be a good idea to break the fast. Oh, I remember. Yeah, so I did that. And I had a little, put a little egg in the batter, the broth. And I ate it. And I think I had it with my, my vitamins, vitamin minerals. I took it easy. Yeah, I took it easy. After that, I just lied around. I think I did. Did I turn on my computer? I may have turned on my computer, but I was feeling okay. Um, but after, yeah, this is where I think my first mistake. Um, I should have eaten something a little later on, because see, going on the fast and then waiting because I do intermittent fasting, which means, eating one meal a day, one meal of the day. But I think that in breaking the fast to eat another little baby meal, to refeed my body. But late that evening, as I mentioned before, in the past video, I felt a little tired, but overall I felt okay. I just said, hey, I'm in my jammies. I took my shower, put my jammies on, and I'm in bed. I said, let me just check. So now I'm getting my device, my device to measure, my blood glucose and my ketones. Um, and my blood sugar was it was 669, and it could be a little more. And when I checked the ketones, honey, it was on 99, breaking the roof. Honey, I went out of that room, threw on some clothes, called family, called a family member. I said, hey, I'm on my way to the hospital. Blah, blah, blah. I explained, yeah, I'm in ketosis, it looks like. Um, they didn't really understand the terminology, but I just told, look, it's not at a safe level. And so going to go to the ER. So at the ER, again, I didn't feel, I was mobile, very mobile. Um, and then, I was eventually seen. I didn't have to wait too long, but I was seen. I told them what I did. But it took a long time, it seemed, for them to actually take samples. You need to take blood sample, urine samples, and all that. Yeah, I was in ketosis. And so the only thing they did was, they gave me saline. Yeah, I felt dehydrated. My tongue was dry and it getting drier. Yeah, I get that a lot now. So I get home the next morning, because I spent the overnighter, them, what do you call it, observing me, make sure everything's okay. Just see, wait until everything gets stabilized. It's okay, you're good to go. It was after 5 a.m. in the morning. Got home. Yeah, I walked home. Um, what did I do else? Yeah, so when I got home, um, I still, I was ambulatory. And again, it's cool. It was cool during that time, that hour. And I made some a tea with cream and honey in it, just to get something quick in me, But I felt like, let's see, yeah, I waited for like an hour, and then I was to eat some food. And what did I have? Yeah, I said, let me make some. Yeah, I started to feel a little nervous, like my body felt funny. Yeah, I needed to eat. Yeah, I think that's how it went. Um, yeah, I ate. I made some scrambled eggs and little veggies, things that I thought would be easy to eat. But I needed to eat it again. I ate what I could eat at that time. I just felt full. And I noticed my body felt funny. Still, I felt weak. Yeah, I felt weak. Yeah, I think that I started to panic a little bit. So wow, maybe maybe I should go back, go back to yeah. I called um, yeah, I called my doctor. It was a new doctor actually. I saw them once in June. She's going on vacation. Yeah, yeah. So that Thursday and Friday were her last 2 days, and then this coming week she'll be on vacation. So the only available spot was for a week from this coming Monday. So I took that spot. Yeah, so that was Thursday. Thursday. Yeah, because yesterday was Friday. Yeah. So Friday. Yeah, I just didn't feel right. I felt weak. I said, why? Because I had a little something the other day, but I needed to eat another little meal, evidently. My body was craving food, even though I did have the broth with the little veggies, but I needed to keep on eating. Yeah, yeah. So I went back. Yeah, I walked over, and I didn't feel right. Yeah, I felt weak. I was walking like a like Frankenstein. You know how the monster. Walking really heavy footed. Yeah, yeah, and it was hot. Um, yeah, so I'm glad I arrived there safe. It's like 4 blocks away or something like that. But still, it took effort, and I was wondering why I was feeling like this. I mean, yes, coming out from a fast, but I've done fasts in the past, but not feel like this week. So yeah, so I called the doctor's office. It was at a clinic, and I said, look, I did make oh, how did I do it now? I'm trying to remember now. Um, yeah, oh, I remember what I did. I remember now. Yeah, I went there in person. That's right. My logic was, I said, look, the day before, Thursday, I called to see the doctor. I didn't feel, felt weak. Um, oh, no, wait a minute. Yeah, I was a little weak, but yeah, I just want, because that's right, the hospital said after you get out of leave home from the ER, contact your primary care physician and make an appointment with them. That's right, that's how it happened. Yes, I called initially, and their earliest appointment was um, a week from this coming Monday, and that was because she'll be on vacation this coming week. And she was booked Thursday and Friday, that's right. And so, yes, I didn't push the issue, but I just wanted to be proactive. And then Friday, the weakness started. And when I woke up, I didn't feel right in my head. I felt dizzy. That's what I felt dizzy when I woke up, and I felt a little weak. I said, "Wow, I ate I ate the broth yesterday afternoon. Well, I needed to eat more after I had that broth on Thursday. So I tried to eat that Friday morning a little something, but I just felt I didn't feel good to eat the food. Yeah, because I had my water, so all that water was in me, and trying to eat food on top of that. Yeah, my body was reacting. My body was sensitive, and that's why I called the. Yeah, I went over to the doctor. So I tried to eat what I could eat of the eggs and little veggie. I could hardly eat anything, but I had the honey. Yeah, I took some scoops of honey. That helped. That helped. It corrected it increased my blood glucose. And then I headed out to the doctor's office and explained to them. I said, look, I need to be seen. I think I'm still in a medical emergency. Something's, I'm not feeling good. And I explained to her what happened. And yeah, I did make the appointment with the doctor, but I don't think my body could wait. I don't think my body can wait. I think something is wrong, blah, blah, blah. And she says, okay, let me get a nurse for you. And whatever the nurse decides. So I saw the nurse. She was polite. My blood pressure was high. It was 155 over something. Yeah, my numbers is like 115 over something, but this is 155. Um, so she says, I'm going to find you a doctor. So I'm so grateful. Yeah, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. Um, Yeah, and I got to see a doctor. I think she's like a resident. She was young female, um, and she was very kind to me. Patient. It's really something. Let me just say this. Sometimes we can be a little harsh with the young residents and everything, a little impatient. When you see someone who looks more than less than half your age, they look real green, and you may feel confident that they could help you. But you know what these doctors have, these little young snappers, young whippersnappers, they have more patience, and they're willing to listen to you. She listened. This woman took time to listen to me. I explained to her what happened, what I did, and I started to cry at one point. And she comforted me. It was just nice. It was. I think at that time, I mean, my vitals weren't like critical, anything like that. Um, but she explained the dangers of keto. What happened, the diet. Now, I think in all fairness of everything, I think what did me in to get into high levels of ketosis, a dangerous level of ketosis, was the fasting. Because I last checked the ketones the day before I was to do the fast, and it was at a very safe level. But honey, the combination of doing, ooh wee. So she stressed, don't go on the keto dieting. Don't do it. Um, I did request to get a dietitian, a registered dietitian. So she put in the referral for that, so I should be getting a call to schedule an appointment. Yeah. So I'm grateful. I guess I'm sharing this because I want people to know. Okay, doing keto and then fasting was potentially dangerous, deadly, I should say, potentially deadly. So that I encourage strongly. Don't do it. My numbers were low, and then somehow it skyrocketed in just 3 days. I guess equivalent to 4 days because see, I do intermittent fasting, so it's 24 hours later was my scheduled meal. But still, so it's almost equivalent to 4 days without food until I ate that food. And that was a no-no, a formula for disaster. My body had gone through a lot of stress. And so you have to, I had to keep on feeding the body. So the initial meal, I did have the tea with the cream and the honey, but and after having the broth, to eat something, a little later on, I mean, I had some cheap, but my body wanted more fuel. And so when I woke up on the following morning, um, I guess my body was still in stress. It was trying to equalize. So yeah, so that to be careful. It's really something, and the body changes. What you may have been able to do yesterday, so to speak, doesn't mean that your body's going to react today the same way. And I have to be realistic about that. That maybe in my head, I feel like a 30-something-year-old woman. Well, I'm not 30. You could think, like those people who think that they feel like a boy or girl, but their um, genetics prove otherwise. You can feel what you want to feel. But what is reality? What is reality? Reality is, you know, um, you're getting older. I'm 60 years old, 60, and your body has different needs. And I almost forgot. I had gotten this book. Let me show you. I hope I can show on camera. Okay, it came in the mail. I forgot I had it. It came in the mail um, maybe 2 weeks ago. Let's see. Okay, it's called Metabolic Renewal Roadmap by Dr. Jade Teta. Okay, now I think this came in the mail maybe two weeks ago. It was right, it was on on the counter, and this book talks about what I need to know more about, but I just wasn't ready to open it up. Sometimes books could intimidate me. I'm being real. I'm being honest. Yeah, I did open it up and look at it, but I needed to read it. Well, I read the introduction. Fantastic, fantastic, and it's really about what's happening in my body as a 60-year-old woman, and I think I'm considered post-menopausal. It's been 8 years since that day of my woman's cycle, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Um, the body changes over time. And this book talks about the, how the body works, during different stages of a woman's life. And many of the health gurus, I shouldn't say health gurus, but a lot of the fitness plans and studies are not done upon women. The data is not based on women. The data, according to him, is based on college age men, and usually like they're athletes. College age men, not even women. That demographics. And they based everything on them. So when you try to do a particular plan, a health regimen, uh, it's not geared for women. And so you're not going to get the same results. And overdoing it, if you're a female, and especially you're my age, you're not going to have good results. More to someone my age creates stress in the body. It's perceived that your body perceives it as stress, and so that means cortisol, and cortisol is a stress hormone. And what does that do? Creates insulin, and increase of glucose because your body thinks it's in a fight and flight situation and needs fuel to run away or fight, whatever. But for guys, young men, the more they do, it builds up more testosterone, and they get positive results. So we're different, and it's okay to be different. Embrace the difference. I'm not made to be a man or to act like a man. And go with your biology. And this author talks about, hey, women have certain things, body chemistries that they can use in their favor. He said growth hormone, something, human growth hormone, HGH, human growth hormones, and this other thing. He said use those things to your advantage. And he's going to discuss a plan, according to what your metabolic process is. So if you're a young menstruating woman versus if you're postmenopausal, the different things. And so I'm going to continue reading it and see what they have to do. Because see, my issue now, and I go out virtually every day and walk, but I don't feel stronger. I don't feel strong. That's why I stressed to the doctor. Because there are many, many reasons why I decided to do all this. At the time, I didn't remember everything all at once, why. But as I was talking to her and getting it out, I was remembering more and more. Because it's still a little foggy, my thinking at the time, because I was weak. But I was remembering there were a lot of different factors to this. The fact is that I was on a healthy diet in March and everything. And I was developing a metabolic syndrome. That's a syndrome that is classic to people on the road, to diabetes and everything else. Yes, good morning, viewers. Good morning. Good morning. So, yes, I hope you can hear me too. I'm using my mic, so I hope everything is in order that you can hear. And if you can hear, you can type a 1 for yes that you can hear the audio. So, there were many different factors that, I was eating right. I did still do the intermittent fasting in March, eating one meal a day. I had my starches, I had my protein, usually in form of chicken, and I love my veggies. Yeah. So how did I get my elevated blood pressure, A1C borderline diabetic? It was 5.6. That's a high normal. Okay, one more digit, I would have been considered like a diabetic or pre-diabetic, something like that. And it runs in my family, diabetes and everything that it comes with it. Yeah, and there was something else. So the blood pressure, A1C, my cholesterol level was high. In general, my cholesterol is slightly more higher, but I have a high HDL, considered the so-called good cholesterol is high, and it counteracts the so-called bad cholesterol, the LDL. So it balances out. So I wasn't so much concerned at the time, but when because see, my doctor, like, she was reading the blood labs, and I hadn't used that doctor in like 10 or more years. She's a private doctor, and I didn't want to go to the VA hospital. I just fed up with them. I said, hey, let me go back to my old doctor. So I had to pay out of pocket. And I was surprised at her behavior. Yeah. So she had a printout of my lab results. She says, oh, man, I have some bad news for you. Really dramatic, like a drama queen. Scared the crap out of me. Oh, she was good. She saw the A, like they had to have the paper set up, the printout. They said, like it started with the concerning info, the things that was elevated up front, things to pay attention to, and then the remainder data. So she's just reading off what it said, and she said so dramatically. I got scared. I'm thinking, what? And then she proceeded by giving me my blood pressure, doing my blood pressure, and it was high. Anyone who has that drama queen saying, "Oh, I have bad news for you," I thought she was going to say I had cancer. That's what I thought. Yeah, it was stupid how she said it. And so she was responding to the A1C being border, the high normal before it gets into uh, diabetic, pre-diabetic or something like that, and then the cholesterol, and she didn't consider the HDL. So I was angry at her, when I saw, got to see the report later on. Yeah, she's just being a drama queen. But either way, she said what she said, and so I thought, hey, I better do something about it. So, I found out about the guy, the book that I show you by Jade, what's his name? Jade Teta, or Tita. Um, so I waited, and I said, hey, I was looking into the keto because someone recently told me about their keto, keto dieting. They lost a lot of, they have diabetes and a lot of other crap, and how they lost that fat. And they stopped taking the meds. Well, now they have to go back on, you go back on those meds. Something is happening in the body. It seems like a lot of people that I know, people close to me, something is happening to our bodies. There's a stressor. People who, following the program, the doctor's program, and then something is triggered in them that is increasing their blood pressure all of a sudden, the glucose, everything's out of whack. What's going on, people? What is going on? Yeah, I hope you guys can hear me. Yeah, if you can hear me, let me know. Just want to make sure people are getting this. But something is happening. Something is happening to me, to these other people who I know. You could like follow the program. I was eating right, exercising every day, and not feeling empowered, feeling weak. I've been doing my walk for over 3 years. The same thing. If you're doing the same type of exercise, wouldn't you feel, at least comfortable? I feel wiped out. When I'm doing it, I feel okay. I mean, I feel sometimes you can feel the pressure. I mean, when I say pressure, I mean you feel the resistance of, because I'm pushing the carriage with my dogs in it. Going slight uphill, downhills. So you got to use some effort there. Um, and the frustration I felt. And then I felt I was getting addicted to the internet. Yes, good morning, viewer. Good morning, good morning. Please let me know if you can hear the audio. I just want to make sure that the audio is on. So I was just very, very concerned with everything. Very, very concerned. Um, So I felt I had to make desperate, drastic uh, choice, very determined choice. I said, hey, let me try out this keto dieting. And initially it was very good. I got the devices, to measure my numbers, and everything was good. But honey, something happened. And what happened was the bad chemistry between doing keto dieting and then fasting. It didn't want it. My body reacted. Okay, my body, everything about me seems very sensitive to certain environmental changes. So what do you do, people? What do you do when you think you're doing the right thing and then you get a doctor? Oh my God, I got bad news to tell you. I don't want to hear that. I'm very conscientious about my health. And if I'm doing something wrong, yes, I would change it. So at least at this time, doing fasting, and it was only a 3-day fast. But yes, I do also on top of it intermittent fasting. Yes, so the doctor that I spoke to yesterday, she said, it's okay to do intermittent fasting, but don't do keto dieting. Don't do it. So, yeah, what an event. Yeah, and I think that's why I started to cry a little bit because it's like frustration. You do this, do that. You talk to different doctors, and they don't know. Yeah, I also, let me tell you this also, what I'm remembering. I know, well, I had seen this commercial about this new, using high technology. Yeah, I tell you that it's really designed for rich men who want to stay in the game, rich executives, those business type A personality males. And it's something like so it's geared to people who are a little older, um, 50s, 60s, and they want to keep their youth of wellness. Well, I contacted them. I saw the commercial, filled out their form online. I did get a call. It gave me a quick, interview to get my full name again, and that someone called me. And then I did get a call. It was like a pre-screening of a pre-screening. And they didn't have anyone call me to set up the appointment. They completely dumped me. So I remember I was able to call them again. Yeah, the commercial came on again because I lost their number. When the commercial reappeared sometime, some weeks or months later, I wrote it down and I called them actually, not even the form online, not the online form, but I phoned the number. And they said, "Oh yes, I remember you. I remember your name." And oh, sorry that nobody got it. And I gave them again my information, and still they didn't call. I even asked. I said, "Hey, look, is this thing geared for women? Is that what the problem is, that you only do men?" They says, "No, no, no. We do women also." Now this thing, their assessment thing, is not free. I'm sure it costs an arm and a leg, and I was willing to pay um, what it'll probably cost to go there. If it's like $1,000, I would have paid it. I just want to find out why my body is feeling, what could I do? You know? So, and they did again. They didn't call. They didn't call me back to set up an appointment. I said, this is something. It felt like an omen. It's like, why would a company not want to call a potential customer to utilize their services? Well, maybe it's really designed for certain people and they just don't want, I don't know. I don't know people. I don't know. Yeah, some things really are geared to, they have like a whole regimen there of specialists for different aspects of health and exercise, diet. It's a whole package deal. I think also they give them hormone therapy too. Now, I'm not willing to do hormone therapy. They give the guys testosterone and things like that. That's what they probably give them. I, you know, yeah, in their whole website, they only had one female, and it was a small picture. We all know who it's designed for, and it's a shame that when someone else was willing to utilize it, and they're not being utilized. I mean, I feel like at a point, like I guess when all that was happening, reaching out to businesses regarding my health, um, trying to get the top of the edge of science. Because if your doctor says, I say, look, doctor, I've been doing this, I've been feeling weak, blah blah blah, and they don't have anything for you. Nothing. You know, okay, eat your chicken, your broccoli. The same, and you're doing that, and you start to you start to, hey, I got to do something. And I thought the keto dieting, especially the first phase that I did, the when I had the avocado, I had the veggie, the low starch veggies, it was fun. I had the cheeses. Yeah, I set it up on a nice wooden plate that I have. I enjoyed the process, but it was deadly doing the 3-day fast. So I want to play it. I want to do it work. So luckily, I remembered about this book. Yeah, it's a whole series. This book. Let me show you again. Metabolic Renewal Roadmap by Dr. Jade Teta. It talks about the science, basically the science of a woman's metabolism at different phases of her life. And it comes with CDs, CD, yeah. Yeah, this is the booklet of it. It says just 15 minutes 3 times per week, burn stubborn belly fat, sculpt lean, sexy, yeah, etc., etc. You see that? 4-phase workout videos, body sculpting burnout, yeah. So I wasn't ready to open it. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I do things that some things I do, not the thing, that package came in the mail, I think maybe 2 weeks ago, or even 3 weeks ago. But I was just still, I guess, to try to discipline myself, you see, that was the problem. To sit still long enough um, to go on, yeah, because it's also online. Once you pay, like when I paid for the program, you just pay once. It wasn't that expensive, 30 something or 30 or 50 something dollars, and you can I paid for the hard copy, what I just showed you, but also they have a digital one as well online, so I have access to both. Um, and I got a little frustrated because it was I did look into the digital format, and I was a little overwhelmed with the information, overwhelmed, and I think it intimidated me. It intimidated me, the information, and so I just didn't feel like opening up the book, because I got both formats because if I didn't want to go online, just look on the hard copy, the book, and go from there. But I was just I just got turned off. So, so I have this information. I started reading it last night, and I said, "Wow!" I read the introduction, and I said, "Wow." It seemed to make sense, and he's addressing my issues of doing the same thing, the exercise, the walking specifically, and not feel well. And he's explaining. He said, "Look, people your age, your stage in life, is considered stress, and you're producing more cortisol. Uh, you get the peak. You'll get the peaks. The blood glucose peaks because the cortisol level is increasing um, the insulin, which creates more glucose. So you get those spikes. So your A1C gets erratic. Your A1C levels is what is the number scoring of your average glucose levels over a period of time. It's a cumulative, even though it's one blood test, but it's able to measure the blood, because your blood is of different ages, and it tabulates the different ages, and could register what your blood glucose was 2 months, 1 month ago. Amazing, amazing science. Yeah, it's the first time I ever had my A1C done was this year. And when I got the result, it was like you're going to become diabetic. Diabetes runs in my family big time. And when she said that, and I thought I was doing the right thing, eating right, so I felt like I had to do something drastic, more. Yeah, I don't want to say drastic in the negative sense, but do something different. If A, B, and C didn't work, do D, E, F. you know. So I thought of doing the keto, and then I wanted to do the fasting more of a spiritual thing to break those strongholds that I thought were in my life. Yeah, any of you ever experienced that you had a stronghold over your life? That you want to do something but you don't do it? You're watching too much TV, or you're on the internet too much, and you're addicted to it. So I said, hey, I want to break all those strongholds. So I stopped all internet, all electronics, along with the fasting for those 3 days. And I thought, yes. So I thought I was on the road to, yeah, we're going to work this out. I'm going to, do it. And in the fun, I got ketosis. It's very dangerous. It's your body acidifies. And it's at a dangerously high level. It could kill you. And I'm relieved that I had enough sense to measure. Hey, how you doing? Oh, good, good. You can see, you can hear me. Yeah, I was concerned that the audio wasn't on because people would come on and then they leave. So I thought maybe the audio wasn't working. Yes, good morning, Sophia. Oh, you have an A1C of 5. Yeah, 5.6. Oh, great, great. I'm glad you can hear me. Yeah, 5.6. And it was, a high normal. And it's like, whoa. And again, that's average. So that means that, in general, with average, that meant some of those levels were uh, diabetic range, and then others normal. So either way, it runs in my family. And it's like all of a sudden, these people that I know, something is triggering in their body. The unexplained high blood pressure, uh, their blood glucose out of whack. So I said, I got to do something. Sophia, I said, I got to do something. And I fasted in the past. I've done that. But what I never did was a keto diet and then followed by a fasting, you know? And I did test my levels before I even did it, and everything was safe. See, your body changes. Let's say a 20-year-old doing what I did may not have gotten the same results that I did. But honey, a 60-year-old, well, it was problematic. So I'm going to continue reading this book. Let me show you if you didn't see it, Sophia, if you're just coming on. He came on I watch YouTube, and this commercial came on, and this man, he studied women's metabolism, and he designed this book. Metabolic Renewal is called Roadmap. Okay, it's by Dr. Jade Teta. Dr. Jade Teta. And he also talks, okay, in this 12-week metabolic meals plan, okay? And he talks about the science of a woman's biology, a woman's body chemistry. Yeah, yeah. You could go on the internet, type in his name, Dr. Jade Teta, Teta. Yeah, look, I'll show you again. Dr. Jade Teta. And he does exercises. What do you call it? He's like a life coach, what do you call it? A PT instructor. Yeah. And it's designed for women in their 20s, 30s, 40s, and up, 50s, 60s. And he explained how he, being a man, he was in the industry for 30 years, and he shared, hey, how could this dude have this? And he explained, he said, most of his clients over the years, 75% of them were women. 75%. Women are more interested in their health. And so he had to help his female clients, he had to understand their biology, their hormones. They train these people. The industry, the health industry, is really focused on men's health. And as I mentioned earlier in this live stream, that the science that they get a lot of their data from is from men, college-age men who are in their prime. They're like athletes. And what's best for them. It did not consider women. It considered men for their data. And it set that data as a standard for everybody. And they do the same thing for medicine. When you take a pill, these medicines are designed for certain demographics. It's not considering my demographics. So you get different results. We have different chemistries, different life stresses, etc. Okay, Sophia says, will you be continuing with this keto? Does it affect your cholesterol in any way with all the animal fats? Okay. They did show me my test results. Oh, what was that now? Well, they redid my blood tests yesterday, but the results will come in a couple of days. But there was a blood test done in June, and I was on the keto diet, or keto-based diet. And, it looked, I think one of the numbers decreased. I mean, I had cholesterol. My HDL is good, it's high. The LDL it was about this, but I think one thing changed. One thing did lower. But what I'll do, I don't want to give wrong information. I was told in general, because I watched a lot of videos on keto diet, that it 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 had a lot of benefits for them. It lowered their blood pressure, and their blood. It seemed to have positive results. But I don't want to give wrong information about it, so I will share that information with you um, when and compare it. That's the best science. I'll compare the two. I'll compare the one that I got. Um, I think in March. I think it was yeah, March, because that's when that doctor tried to scare me. I think it was in March or April. And I mean, I did. I mean, yeah, it was what it was. But um, I just say what I learned about my experience, that your health is in your own hands, so to speak, and you're responsible for your health. So I was responsible to at least get a device to read the keto levels. I bought it online. You breathe into this tube, and you get an app with it for your smartphone, and you can see your results, your levels instantly, your ketone levels, and it'll let you know, hey, you're off the chart, and that's what happened. Yeah, um, I had checked during my fast in the 3 days, I didn't touch any device, and in my the phone, um, my blood glucose monitor, my computer, internet, anything. I didn't even make any phone calls. I was totally into uh, phasing into, focusing on me, my what I thought my health, and everything on the surface seemed okay. It was just for 3 days. Got some meditation, try to, go to the park, talk to nature. I really thought I was in good hands. But people, I wasn't in good hands. I got in ketosis, which is deadly. It could have been deadly, yeah. So um, the day after the fast, I mean, day after I did the fast, I was to eat. I eat one meal a day. The doctor said eating one meal a day is fine, but I needed to, really, not prolong it. Luckily, I had that device. Luckily, I had enough wisdom to check. And again, I didn't feel anything serious. I didn't, I was a little tired. I was going into bed. I was going to bed. It was in the evening. It was like 8 o'clock, because I was going to bed early, or relatively early, because I wasn't getting sleep, people. I wasn't sleeping well, because I would keep waking up and then going on on my computer. I would stay up and just watch videos. I couldn't stop, people. And I was told when I went on the internet that not sleeping puts stress on the body and will increase your stress hormones, which will affect your blood glucose levels. And I think that's what happened to me in March. In the month of March, I was under stress. And so I decided during this fast that I would go to bed early. I do my little exercise, do my walk, and take my time walking. And, walk, feeling good, and that's what I did. And then I ate my little meal. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I would rest my foot up and drink my water. And then I go to bed early. I go to bed at between 8 o'clock, 8 p.m., 8:30, sometimes it was 9. But really, and try to go to sleep. I thought I was doing all the right things, but it wasn't. It was harming me. The fasting, so it was the fasting that really stressed me. And again, it could have been my because my body's age. You know, it seems like, see, society is changing so fast that science hasn't caught, the data hasn't caught up to, you know, to report about different things, different age groups, the age groups of people doing X, Y, and Z, and what the outcome is. What, you know, again, the science is based usually on young white men. I'm not trying to be racist. I'm just trying to say the data. Where are they getting the data from? They're not getting the data from a 60-year-old woman of color. No. They're not getting the data and basing the science on her needs. They're basing data on men, young men. And so, you know, science hasn't caught up to that, hey, women want to be healthy too. And again, this man, Dr. Jade Teta, most of his, 75% of his clients are women. And you cannot do the science of a 20-something-year-old male and pair it with a 40-something-year-old female. It's a different approach, different science. And so, yeah, so I'm reporting this to let sharing to those people who want to know, hey, okay, this is what happened to her. Okay, doing the keto and then you do a fast, okay, that's a no-no. Is it a no-no just for people her age? Is it a no-no for everybody? And this science has to be determined. We have to find out. I had no idea that this was going to get ketosis. Ketosis could kill you. So, but I want my health. I mean, I want. I didn't. I kind of got scared in March when the doctor said, "I got some real bad news to tell you." Just like that, like a drama queen, trying to scare me. It was a doctor I hadn't used in 10 years or so. Yeah, she's a private doctor that I used to use back in the day when I was in school. And I no longer wanted to use the VA hospital, for the veterans. I said, I want to get a private doctor. So I went to her, paid out of pocket. And so I was really surprised at her approach. It was very immature of her, I thought. Um, and she didn't consider the good things that was on that paper, like my HDL. But my A1C, my blood pressure went up the roof for me. When imagine people. If someone come up to you and say, "I got some real bad news to tell you," and it's a doctor, and then immediately after take your blood pressure, people, what do you think it would read? High or low? Yes, you guessed right. It'd be high. So I was concerned. I was concerned about my health. Hey, I thought I was doing the right thing. I eating my proteins, my leafy vegetables, and all that stuff. My multivitamins. But, I'm real into my health. Drinking my water. So what's the deal? So I wanted to find someone who has the science of women. So I'm going to read that book, people. I got to read it, and he does have a exercise regimen, metabolic renew roadmap, and it's for women. That's a woman's sign. That sign there, Dr. Jade Teta. Okay, and I'm not being sponsored by him either. It's something I ordered in the mail. This is the hard copy, but there's also a digital copy. He has his digital videos online. So I bought both. So I know some days I don't want to go on my computer, and I want a hard copy. So it has also DVDs. Let me show you that. Comes with DVDs. Okay. It's an exercise regimen, and it's designed for women. And I'll tell you something else. I realized certain things about myself, and I know I'm not alone. Okay, it just says, see, when you get older, doing certain physical exercises, your body translates that as stress, and it's going to increase the cortisol levels, and then you're going to get the belly fat. Don't you wonder why women get that belly fat? I was developing belly fat. So where's this thing coming from? Well, his science talks about this, you know, and as I said, just 15 minutes, 3 times per week, and it's an intensity thing. Like you do short spurts of intense exercise that's going to get you out of breath. Real. You're huffing and puffing, just 5 minutes intervals, and that works. It's for the dudes, they can do those long exercises. They have the testosterone. Women don't have that testosterone, and doing those long things is just going to stress your body out, and it's not going to work. It doesn't work the same. And so he studied women. He studied women's metabolism and how it worked. And he devised it. So I felt intimidated, people. This thing came in the mail maybe 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, or maybe even 4 weeks ago. I had it on the, I opened up the box, looked at the book a little bit, saw the DVDs, and again, they also have the DVD, the online version with the exercise, and I got intimidated. I'm being honest. I got a little overwhelmed. I couldn't focus. Because, see, I in the past, I had ordered this thing online, this other thing on stretching, and I couldn't navigate with it. It was like you have to look on the screen, and then you have to, like, by the time I'm on the floor, doing the exercise, he's doing something else. And I got fed up, and I couldn't follow along. I couldn't. And I said, screw this. Yeah. So I thought this thing, this, I thought this thing was going to do the same thing. I didn't open or use this, but they have the digital version online, and I didn't want to go through the same BS like this stretching exercise thing that I was doing, and it cost a lot of money, that one. I just got fed up. I go up and down, up and down. Oh God! I said, no, this is not going to work for me. You know, it was like it was too strenuous for my body. It just So I said, let me go at my own pace. I said, hey, you just do your own thing on stretching. Well, honey, during the fast, I did a little stretching in my bed. I reached over, just to touch my toes. That's all I did. I went stretched to touch my toes. Then I crossed my legs and leaned forward to kind of stretch my lower back. And honey, the next day I was in severe pain. I said, what the hell is going on? I said, why I feel like it's some old lady. It didn't work for me. I don't know, people. It could have been maybe the control. It was unbelievably sensitive. It could have been a hydration issue too. Maybe when you're in ketosis or in the keto diet, maybe your body has to absorb all the water from you to digest the protein. I don't know. I was drinking my water. So why all this extra pain? It didn't make sense. It didn't make sense. So, but I owe it to myself to find out what does work. So yes, I will go through this book, okay, by Jade Teta. And no, I'm not, he's not paying me to show you this. I'm not being endorsed by him. But I'm just sharing. I'm sharing information. Um, what could possibly work for other women, you know. And I would share the information, as I read and learn more. And hey, and follow what the exercise are. Find out what type of thing will work best for me. Uh, yeah, so I did the 3-day fast to like restart my body, to just restart my game plan, in what's the next approach, to get off the internet, to stop being addicted to the internet, get my sleep, um, and do an exercise thing that is for my body, that will work for my body. So that's what was happening, folks. I just felt, I didn't know I was on this long. But yeah, I felt it necessary because I know that I'm not alone here, and that your health, women's health, women are in general more concerned about health than men. You know what the statistics is? A single man has the worst health outcome, but a married man has a better outcome than an unmarried man. And you know why? Because their wives nag them to go to the doctors. Men don't go to doctors because they want to be perceived as being strong. They don't go. So, with a woman or a partner pushing them to go, they go to the doctor. So they live longer, people. They live longer. But single women with no kids live the longest. And married women live shorter than single women. And you know why married women live shorter than single women? Because married women neglect their health because they're trying to take care of their husband and their children, and they don't consider their health. They consider their health last. That's what's happening, people. So in a nutshell, is that what those demographics are lacking is that oh, that's my little boy. He's lavender. Okay. Yes, I see you too. Oh, you want to get down on the bed, off the bed? Okay, let me get you. Hold on, guys. Oh, oh, sorry. Oh, sorry about that. Sorry about that. I had to get him down. That's my little boy, Lavender. It's a good boy. Yeah. Uh, so, uh, so the common denominator, with some of this stuff, with people who are sickly, are people who are neglecting uh, health warnings, and a married woman with children neglecting their health because they're preoccupied with somebody else's health. You have to take the time to take care of your health too. So I guess anyone who's living with their parents, hey mom, you should go to the doctors. Each one help each other. We all need to help each other. And it's good, if let's say you have a friend, and let's say, hey, so and so, you're not looking well. Hey, you should go to the doctor. We all have to remember. Sometimes we're so busy. And when I was a college student in my latter years, I was neglecting, here I was majoring in health and nutrition at that. Go figure. And some of you so preoccupied with school and in your own aims in life that you neglect your health. I was just so wired. When I was in school, I was like gung-ho. And I was so focused on, I used all my energy in doing schoolwork. I had a little, cereal for my food of the day. I had like cold cereal, and that was it. And I didn't realize I was losing too much weight. Yeah, someone say, hey, you look like you're losing weight. I didn't realize it. I wasn't preoccupied with my lungs. But see, this is good though. So sometimes people aren't trying to be mean. That's what I'm seeing now. Some people aren't. You can't see yourself. You know what I mean. Other people can see you. They can say, "Hey, she look like, or he looks a little different. Hey, his clothes are getting baggy." And sometimes it's okay to say, "Hey, hey, you look like you're losing weight." And I wasn't. I was slim back then. I was slim, but I was losing weight because I wasn't, just eating this cereal. And then on top of it, I was doing exercises back then. I was doing calisthenics and stretching. And man, I felt weak. Nothing I did seemed to make me feel good. So I stopped exercising, doing the calisthenics and stretching because it wiped me out. I felt weak. What was going on, people? What was going on in my life, in hindsight, was that I wasn't giving my muscles time to recuperate. I wasn't giving my muscles time to regroup and to recover, what we call recovery time. I needed recovery time for the muscles to rebuild. Stretching or calisthenics, the muscles get those micro tears in it, and then they have to remend, and then the muscle develops and gets bigger and stronger. I wasn't allowing it to heal, get stronger, and eating that flimsy breakfast I had of cold cereal was not enough. I did have back then my supplements. Yeah, I had supplements back then, but that's not enough, people. It wasn't. And so yes, a woman was telling me, "Hey, you look like you're losing weight. Hey, I think I was a little, I felt a little offended, you know. But sometimes, people, we cannot see through the same eyes. Other people could see you. And they could notice, hey, you looking a little this way, or maybe you didn't realize how you were walking, you know? Um, so that's all I'm saying, that, hey, you know, we too care about our neighbors, so to speak. We see someone, you could ask politely, hey, is everything okay? If it's a friend of you, of yours, I'm not saying to walk up to a stranger, but if you see a stranger, look like they're falling, look like they're in a medical emergency, that's something, I have been in that situation. I saw someone, she was having a medical emergency, and unfortunate, it was a woman of color. She was having medical, she was not a junkie or anything like that. But see, this is how a lot of us think about each other. This is how a lot of us think of each other. Oh, she must be high. Oh, she must be that. No, she's just an urban woman of color, married with grandchildren, and she had just come out from the hospital visiting her sick father, and then she had to run and go get the grandchild from school. And the only thing she had that day was a half of a banana. And the time this happened, when I saw her in medical uh, extreme, medical emergency, was about 6 p.m. 6 p.m. So people, go figure. You're running around, and she's overheated also. She had this jacket on, so she was getting overheated. And I first, when I walked on the train, she was lying down on the train, and I was concerned. I thought maybe in New York City, I live in New York City, and as a so-called person of color, oh, she might be. What did I think? But and then a young woman of color is in front of her, and she gets up and starts yelling at the lady. Why don't you just take off your jacket? There, you know. But but fortunately, me and that lady in question got off the same stop. But something said, watch her. Just make sure that she's okay. Make sure she's okay. Because I didn't want her to fall on the train tracks. It was one of those trains that are elevated, that's on the surface, above ground. And she can fall, I didn't want her to fall over. So I walked behind her and watched her as she walked. And then I walked up to her. I said, "Excuse me, do you need help? Do you, because see, I didn't want to be like other so-called people of color and just assume that there's something that they're not. I didn't want to be one of them. I know what I thought, but I wanted to go beyond what I thought, people. I wanted to go beyond what society wants me to think of one another, of us. And she was in distress. She was in a medical emergency. I said, I'll help you to the bench over there. It was a long walk. I think 100 yards. It was, we were on the end of the platform. It was a long platform to the exit. So I helped her. Helped carry, helped her across. We sat down, and she's in distress. In my bed, I have to get my grandchild. I have to get my grandchild. Oh. She's in distress. See again, people, married women don't live as long as single women. She says, I have to get my grandchild from school. Oh, who's going to get my grandchild? Yeah, going on. So we got her name. I said, okay, tell your name. She wasn't a crazy lady. She was, her blood glucose was low. Well, how did I find out all this? Okay. Well, I managed to get her telephone number, her name and telephone number, and then what do you call it? The ambulance came and got her. And so I called and followed up, and I got her husband. She said, okay, the husband said, oh, this happened before, she overdoes it and blah, blah, blah. You know, she didn't eat. She had the flu. She had the flu or developed the flu, and she didn't eat and blah, blah, blah. It was a disaster. Come on now. You know, it gets me a little angry. Shouldn't he, the husband, if you got it, if you're all that strong, maybe you should have gotten the grandchild. You know what I'm saying? You know, a lot of us, and included me at times, we're afraid to ask for help. We become afraid to ask for help, and you get like that woman who neglect her own health because she was concerned because she went to the hospital. She was just coming from the hospital, but for her father. Her father's in the hospital. And she was afraid for her father's health. And then she had to run to get her grandchild. It was too much for her. Too much for her physically. And it happened to her. So we are responsible for each other. And it's okay to ask for help. And it's also okay to get information. And if one person can't help you, so yes, we're going to make mistakes along the way. Yeah, it's inevitable. We're going to make mistakes sometimes. And I made a mistake the other day in going on those 3-day fast after doing a keto diet that I've been doing for some weeks. It didn't work for me. But I'm very grateful. I'm grateful for that doc that I saw. I said, if I go there in person, see, I didn't want, like, because I called up the day I got released from the ER room because of the ketosis. I called to make an appointment. But her earliest, but she didn't have room to squeeze me in Thursday or this past Friday. But the next day I just felt funny. Something didn't feel right. I needed more food. I needed a little bit more I needed food in my diet. So I walked over to the clinic, and I feel sometimes people, when they see you eyeball to eyeball, he said, please, I just came out from the ER room the other day. I was in ketosis, and they said I'm good enough to leave for the day, to be released, but to follow up with my doctor, my primary care physician. My primary care physician is booked, but I need to see someone now. I don't feel right in my body. And luckily, people, luckily, that they took pity or whatever what it was. She says, "Look, I'll at least get a nurse to come over to just to talk to." She said, "Just to talk to you." Well, she examined me. She took my vitals, the nurse. I told her what the problem was, and she wasn't feeling good. That nurse itself, she was asking me the same question over and over again about when I left the emergency room, over and over. And she says, "Look, Miss, I haven't eaten all day, and I'm not feeling well." Could you believe it? Could you believe it? She's a nurse, and she didn't eat. This was maybe, what time was this? Maybe 11 o'clock, 11 or 12 o'clock in the afternoon. And she wasn't feeling well, and she couldn't think. And she had put the armband to measure my blood pressure, but something went wrong with the blood pressure the device, and she had to take it off and put on a new one. So everything was erratic, and I didn't know about that she didn't eat and she wasn't feeling well. But she kept asking me to say, she wasn't thinking. But she was nice enough, people. She was nice enough to the lady, at the desk, uh, appealed to the nurse. The nurse brought me inside and actually took my vitals. I told her what's going on, and then she says, I'll find a nurse, I'll find a doctor for you. I'll get a doctor for you." I was so grateful. People learn to be grateful and say thank you. Thank you. I just need, I don't know. I felt actually better. Um, I was a mess walking over there. It's about like 4 blocks away. It's a neighborhood health clinic. And I felt like, oh, how do I'm so fortunate. I'm glad that I got there. See, I needed more protein. I needed more food. My body was recuperating from the ketosis, and I needed more food. I mean, I broke my fast, and I had some broth, bone broth, with a little veggie, but I needed more food. I needed more food, people. And but I knew I did not want to wait a week and a half to see my doctor. I just felt afraid. I said, "God help me." Oh, yes, 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 I did. I prayed. I said, "Please, please help me." And I went. I walked over. I said, "God, please help me get there in one piece." And yes, I'm so fortunate. The doctor I saw, it was because after she spoke to me and examined me, listened to my heart, my lungs, look at my eyes and ears and throat, squeezed my legs, all that, pressed on my belly. It seemed okay. And then she ordered another blood test, but it would take a couple of days to get processed. But I'm thankful that they took the time. And sometimes people, you got to take a step forward. Let them see you. I know you don't see me right now. I'm in bed right now. I may not look the best right now, but at least you can hear my voice. You know, but in emergencies, sometimes when they see you and they see you not clowning around, and it worked. And so I'm very grateful. So we have to learn to give thanks to people. They're going to say, "We're busy. We're busy." Yeah, the lady's probably in training because after she examined me and talked to me, and she put me at ease because I started to cry in front of her. And she reached out and comforted me, which was really very nice. Yeah, she's a new person there, probably. And then she had her assist, what do you call it? Supervisor. Yeah, so she's a doctor in training, you know, and then the doctor came and talked to me a little bit, you know, if I had any other questions, and I just had a couple of questions, you know, just to you know, just make sure everything is what was said, and I thanked them. I thanked them. Learn how to say thank you, people. It can go a long way, especially when you're in a medical emergency. Yeah, here in New York City, uh, things are out of whack. People's health is out of whack, and for whatever reason, people that are close to me, these having these medical extremes happening to them. Why, I don't know. So we have to be mindful of each other. And sometimes we do have to come out of our comfort zone, and do things, or check, you know, be bold and ask, hey, are you okay? What's going on? Do you need assistance? You know, I'm very grateful. Yeah, I forget what else I wanted to talk about, people. Yeah, I talked about the health thing. I knew there was something else. What else did I write in the description when I was going to talk about? Ah, I forget. What people? What do you see there? What I wrote about in the description? Oh, oh, what was it now? Um, yeah. Oh, but I don't remember. But life is something. Um, yeah, I think even some of the YouTubers. I watch a lot of YouTube videos. I am concerned about the society as in general, um, what's happened to many of us. The weather is changing a lot. We had a thunderstorm, and two of my dogs were panicking. Yeah, some sometimes they're okay during a storm, but sometimes they get panicky. So yeah. So I see that there's a lot of weather changes. A lot of weather changes. Hey, does anybody have any questions for me regarding some of the things that I was sharing? Are any of you in any type of health, have a regimen, health regimen of wellness? And how's it working for you? How's it working for you? Mm-hmm. What else here? What else I want to talk about? Oh, I did see a movie the other couple of days ago. I went to see the Mission Impossible movie. Yes, I did. I enjoyed it immensely. Yeah, it was very good. Did any of you see the new Mission Impossible movie? It was good. It was very, very good. See here. Yeah. Yeah, this is going to be a part two. Does anyone know when the part two will come out? Yeah, I'll probably watch it. I wonder whether this would be the last of this series, because this would be, wait a minute. Yeah, number. Okay, Sophia says, okay, here. No health regimen at present. I do need to find natural ways to lower my blood pressure, though. All I've tried never seemed to work for very long. Yeah, see, that's just it, Sophia. Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you so much for sharing that. Because, see, we're all different. And what led me to do the ketos, because you can do all what you think is the right thing. You can do so-called exercise. You can eat the veggie, and it doesn't help. So I felt So I've been hearing good things about the keto. Now again, the keto dieting itself, my levels, my keto levels were very good. It's just the keto diet and then followed by the fasting, meaning not eating food. I just had water with a little sea salt. That's all I had for 3 full days. I wanted to stay hydrated. That's one thing. Um, but it pushed my body to extreme ketone levels. That means my body got acidified. When your body gets acidified, it starts to destroy your enzymes. So your whole metabolic process, you can die from that. Yeah, we have to help each other. And sometimes we just need a voice like the doctor that I saw yesterday. Now, she didn't give me any so-called medicine, whatever. She spoke to me. She did take my vitals. I mean, she did order blood labs. Um, she was thorough in her information, or as she understood. And I felt better talking to her. So sometimes the magic is caring and love. Love is a medicine. Love is a medicine for a lot of things. And sometimes that touch of love could lower blood pressure, you know? Sophia, are you able to get any sleep? Like early in the year when I was developing, my blood pressure was getting high than normal. Um, I have to be honest, I was not sleeping. I was just watching videos, fall asleep with the video playing, um, and keep on waking and looking at videos, falling asleep. Um, so, um, what you feel comfortable in sharing, were you, Sophia, able to go to bed at a relatively, at an hour that's good for you and get the recommended sleep, 6 to 8 hours? Yeah, I mean, it seems like if I go to bed early, I wake up early. But I just wanted to, yeah, I just wanted to break those strongholds, people. Yeah, the addiction is, I feel with the internet, I feel it's designed to get us hooked. And it promotes pressure. Okay, let me read what Sophia's answer was. It says, since being on blood pressure meds, I wake up always during the night. Before I was diagnosed some years ago, I had no problem sleeping, but it's only due to oh, okay. See there? See there? I'm so glad you shared that, Sophia. I'm so glad that you shared that. And your name, Sophia, means wisdom. Yeah, and again, I'm not a doctor in any sort of the way. But like what some things that doctors would tell me, what they were telling me in March, um, they want to put you on all these meds, and these medicines cause problems. Oh, wow. Thank you, Sophia, for sharing that. Sophia says, they have no idea why I have high blood pressure. I've been through all the tests and scans. See that? See that? So, um, your sleep. I think the BP meds has given me, oh, there you go, ulcerative colitis. Yes. Yeah. Medicine, like one time, see, it's good to share, people. See, it's unfortunate that internet is a blessing and a curse. It's like a butter knife. You can use it to spread butter, and you can use it to, other things that it's not meant for. It's two-folded. But these medicines, like one time I was on meds when I was in school. I was under a lot of stress, personal stress. Yeah, what I was saying with the internet, like, see, it's designed to keep us separate. But what we do have, at least we're able to communicate with the internet like this in a live stream that we could talk to one another. People are getting stuck at home. Remember with the COVID 19 the past 3 years, and some people were forced to stay at home because they said so. And the things that they said turns out were a lot of falsehoods and really designed to, to control you. It wasn't about science. In my opinion, the past 3 years was not about science, but about control. And, but at least we have what we have here right now, able to share information, able to comfort one another. Uh, and sometimes that's what you need. So here, Sophia boldly shared, she didn't have to share that she feels that what she took, the prescription she took, may have contributed to her colitis. And the medicine that I took when I was a student, I was taking this medicine for my nerves, so to speak, my stress, my anxiety. I had to take something at night and something in the morning. Well, it gave me an ulcer, it turned out. They said pre-carcinogenic thing was encapsulated. And it was attributed to the med, and I was supposed to take it. It didn't say to take it with food. So here, a lot of time they give you full, don't give you the whole picture. And I was taking it for a while. All these things are toxic. And if your doctor's not on top of it, and asking you, hey, are you taking your meds with such a, sometimes you just got to sometimes remind people, or sometimes combination of medicines could hurt you. I would say, read up on the side effects. People, I know of someone, I'm not going to mention name or anything like that, but I know of someone who also has high blood pressure, they shared with me, and then it went up the roof, and they had to be hospitalized, and the doctors couldn't lower the pressure. They didn't know what to do. But eventually it went down, and they have no idea what's going on. What's going on, people? I'm wondering whether it's 5G, these stresses, the person, the person's doing the same type of job they've been doing for the past 30 years, but it's like increase. I think everything has its season until it pops, And these medicine, we're born into this world without medication. So how is it that we end up having to take medication? How? How come? It's all synthetic. Back in the day, didn't we have the neighborhood, or what do you call it, the herbologists? You had the local, I don't want to use that particular name, so-called witch doctor. It's not. They put pejoratives on these. These people know science. They know the. See, we're natural beings. We're natural beings, people. We're not robots, and they want to turn us into robots. There is a movie called Ghost in the Shell. Ghost in the Shell, and some other movies. And they'd taken the human brain and put it in a computer. And these movies that are now coming out, there's another movie coming out for about, oh, I forget the movie, but it'll be out shortly. And it's about the that what do you call it? AI is taking over the planet. Isn't that wasn't that the Matrix? Artificial intelligence? Yeah, the past 20 years, it's intensifying this discussion about AI, taking the human body and altering it through drugs, the chemicals of the drugs. Um, you have people who are getting implantables. People watch Ghost in the Shell. It's very telling. It came out some years ago. I bought it, on iTunes. But people buy it and watch it. It's very exposing. The very beginning of the movie is really telling you. It was really an eye opener. See, it takes place that movie. Ghost in the Shell. It was Japan, and you see people sitting down at men sitting at a table eating, and you have a geisha doll robot. And what's being discussed at the table before the geisha doll comes over to serve the men? There was international table, and who was doing the talking? You had a white guy who is selling technology, and he has his implantable technology. I think he had a robot eye and other little gadgets attached to his body. And then the African guy, there were I think three African men. They're wearing their African attire, and they had like a little attachable, nothing. Real invasive like the other people there. And the white guy, is trying to convince the Africans, oh, don't you want this technology? See, my little girl, oh, she learned all these foreign languages in an instant. And she could, and he had a tape of her singing in French and all. And the African reply says, I have nothing against technology, but and then, lo and behold, the geisha doll, a geisha, those Japanese women, they have that white makeup on, they're all dressed up, and they serve you. The geisha robot approached and was serving the tea, and it overflowed his cup and burned the guy. So the African guy said, you see, that's the problem. And then the geisha doll, a robot doll, attacked the white guy. And there was an invasion in the room, and they used these weapons to destroy some of the people. They left the Africans alone. They wanted to get the head guy, that European guy, mostly. Yeah. Because they didn't want this particular thing out. So the police were involved. And it also turned out in the movie what they shared was that they were kidnapping people, the system, and the young people, and then they will harvest their brain and put it in a robot. I kid you. It's yeah. Well, but why I mention about this movie, people, is that the Africans were the last holdout. Hear that again. The Africans at that dinner table in Japan was the holdout. They were cautious. See, I'm not born in Africa. I'm a black American of mixed heritage, yes. But I'm a black woman, social, I'm a black woman. And I've been to Egypt once. But one thing I noticed about what they show about modern day sub-Saharan Africa, they're really practical people. They're not, they seem very, I'm not, and I hope I'm not offending anyone. And I share this not to offend, stereotype, do anything, say anything pejorative to insult anybody. No, not at all. And if I do by chance offend anyone, please forgive me. It's not my intention. But what I notice, and we have a lot of people born in Africa that move to New York City now, that, that, that certain peoples on the planet and nations that aren't as so-called industrialized, more into their roots of their beginnings, are real practical, and they're more connected to planet Earth. They are connected to planet Earth. It's people like here in New York City, we're disconnected to planet Earth. And we're disconnected here, and we're using things to replace nature. And in my opinion, people, they want us to become robots. Look at all the movies from 1999 till now. And again, there's a movie coming out that is again addressing this new invasion that's going to with the movies take place to replace people. It's all the same theme. It's all the same theme. And you ask yourself, what's going on? Well, they want to make it happen. The system is telling you what they're planning on doing to you. And that Africa is going to be the last holdout. And luckily for the African, luckily they have enough sense to say, you know, that doesn't make sense, people. And you notice now they're trying to convince the African. Again, I'm not here to offend people. Your lifestyle is your lifestyle. But what is natural? That's a man and that's a woman. And in traditional societies where you live close to the land and those animals, the lion, the tiger, the bear, oh my, right? All that. You better know the difference between a male and female or whatever. You better know. You better understand the seasons of that society, the winter, spring, summer, fall, because each of those seasons require you to identify ahead of time so you can prepare. And if you don't know whether you're a man or a woman and know the anatomy, how the hell you going to reproduce your next generation, people? The African has common sense, and they are intimidating the African, and in particular the sub-Sahara African, and then coerce them. I mean, what do you call that word? Um, I forget the word. It's a coercion to say, if you have this policy in your country, we're not going to send you aid anymore. Is that not forcing your lifestyle on somebody? Again, your lifestyle is your choice. But to be able to live in certain societies, and you living close to nature, in some African societies, when I was in school studying nutrition, um, did you know that Nigeria and much of our genetics of so-called black people in the Americas come from Nigeria region? And did you know that the Nigerian has the lowest incidence of cardiovascular disease? So how could you say it's biology, people, if our genetics and and even my black genetics, a big portion of it is Nigeria. Nigeria, yep, people. So how come we don't have the same coverage? How come? How come there's a particular Native American Indian group called the Pima, P as in Peter, I, M as in Mary, A, Pima? They're close to the border of, I think, what's that, Mexico. It's an Indian tribe. And out of all the demographics in America, North America, the Pima Indians have the lowest lifespan and health outcome. They're the worst. They're even worse than black people. I mean, black people overall is extremely poor, one of the worst. But the Pima, it's a small Indian tribe. It's a small segment. So it's not the general Native American population, but this one small Indian tribe called the Pima. Um, they're dying from kidney failure. They become diabetics and have to go on dialysis. The lifespan on dialysis, the maximum time is 5 years, and that's it you're given. They're dying like flies, the Pima Indian, but they have cousins living in Mexico, and they're fine. They're not having problem. People, you have to get this. You have to get the message here. So if it's genetics, people, and the Pima Indians are in bad shape. They're real sensitive to alcohol too. Yeah, see the alcohol they're taking, they're abusing alcohol. Why are they abusing alcohol? Which leading them to kidney failure. They cannot handle alcohol. So how is that people from Mexico? Tequila, anyone? Tequila, anyone? They have tequila in Mexico. How come, they're not, again, I'm not here to stereotype, to offend any ethnic or racial grouping. I'm just comparing. How could this be? How could the people of the same genetics primarily, they're just across the border. They're cousins across the border. You have the Pima in Mexico. And how come they're not faced with the same problem? They don't drink alcohol in Mexico? Yeah, they make tequila there, don't they? They have alcohol. They're not, look at them. And I personally witnessed one time at a party years ago. Yeah, I used to go to these house parties, you call it, back in the 1980s. Back in the 1980s, there was a group of people I met at the park, Central Park. We did roller skating together. And you had a whole circuit of people. You had the skaters and the watchers of the skaters, and it was like a club, so to speak, an unofficial club, and they would have their house parties. And at this house party, this one particular one, an Indian was there, uh, and he had alcohol. And literally, he was on the ground and he was rolling on the ground, rolling, rolling on the ground. Oh my God, what is this? I was very young back then. I didn't understand what's going on. Yeah, he was an Indian guy. And he can't take the alcohol. So how is it that the Native American, the North American indigenous people can't act crazy when it comes to alcohol? But you have a lot of people from Mexico who are pretty much the same genetics, and they have a different outcome. The same as the black American, the black living in the Americas, especially North America, compare it to the Nigerian, who worldwide at one particular time have one of the lower levels of cardiovascular disease. So how can you say it's genetics? You see, people? Well, it's telling us that they could target specific groups in a region, even though they have their relatives on the other side of the border or across the ocean, and do something to us to create disease. Do you understand what I'm saying? Does anyone there hear me? Please say yes if you can hear me, that you understand what I'm saying. I'm speaking to you people. Share this information, the concepts of what I'm telling you. Some things, it's not just biology. They want to make you think there's something wrong with your genetics. And we have to fix you. I don't think it's I don't think it's my genetics that is killing me, but people's intent to destroy certain demographics, people who are being experimented on because of their genetics. Thank you, Sophia. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you. I appreciate that you hear me. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, Sophia is a good person, man. We've never met, but I can tell you have a very good heart. Very, very good heart. And again, I'm a small channel. But it's the special people who watch my channel. I talk to the few. And I've been designed to talk to the few, not the many. Because I'm not here, I feel in my spirit, I'm not here to minister to the many, but the few who have ears to hear. Yes, thank you, Sophia. Thank you for those kind words. Yes, you also, Spirit. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. See, we all need encouragement, including me, all of us. I'm no different than you. I'm just have a device with a mic and able to talk and share when I can. But science seems to be harming us, giving us dis-ease. Sophia, there was a person that came on, and everybody else that's listening and will be listening to this live stream. There was a person, her name is Dr. Jennifer Daniels, 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 like Jack Daniels. uh, she is a doctor, a medical doctor from New York, upstate New York. And she lived in a poor area, but she was a smart girl. She got into medical school. She's also a woman of color. She's from Buffalo, New York. And surprisingly, Buffalo, New York was that man who passed away a year ago, who devised a new technology how to run a car with water. He devised a water engine. You pour water in your car, and you can run your car. Well, he was well, I call assassination. He was hit, maybe I shouldn't say that word on the internet, but he got his demise in a supermarket. And he was to get patent his technology. And conveniently, they set a young kid and did harm to people in that supermarket in Buffalo, if anybody remember. And just coincidence, they got that guy. It was a weird incident. I don't think it was by accident. And interesting that it's Buffalo also. Well, Buffalo's a poor area. It has a lot of poverty. And surprisingly, you may have an area that might be considered poor, but you have people with rich minds that live there too. And it just dawned on me, someone else I know that comes from Buffalo who was targeted too, big time. Young Pharaoh. Young Pharaoh, he's a YouTuber. His channel was pulled because he said something against a particular ethnic group. And then he was to be a guest speaker on a conservative organization. And this particular group that he offended contacted the conservative group that he was to speak at and said he better not speak there or else. And so they had to call him and tell him he could no longer come. I kid you not. That's what happened to young Pharaoh. Young Pharaoh. He's a black dude, young black dude. And it's interesting that a lot of influential young black people are coming from Buffalo, New York. And there's somebody, man, I'm just remembering bit by bit. There was another guy. I don't remember his name, and he too was from Buffalo, New York. This other guy, he died a year ago. Wait. Two, 2001 he died. The end of 2001, um, yeah, I think it was the end of 2001, he passed away. And he was teaching people, and a black man also, very educated. And he had several businesses, and he was teaching people how to move abroad, how to, reestablish yourself in other countries, how to do it. And he mysteriously dies of that COVID. And he was a young man with muscles and everything, like in his 30s, I think, 30s or 40s, early 40s, into health and wellness. And a month before he passed, he was being interviewed. He said he caught a little cold because he had the window open. He caught a little draft. So how could that lead to his demise? I think certain high-profile people, um, and they didn't want. I feel, I don't remember his name. He had an exotic name, an exotic name, a kind of Arabic, Arabic name, first name or something. But yeah, he came out. He was getting popular, and he was teaching other black people about starting businesses, how to relocate. You know, um, it had a service, and I feel the system didn't want black people to leave, and again, in particular, black men, influential black men, to leave, and to teach other people how to leave, how to do certain things. Yeah, he mysteriously died a month after that interview. How does that happen, people? From a common cold. How did that happen? I think so, and yeah. So I think some people are targeted, and surprisingly, Buffalo. So okay, so you had the young pharaoh, that guy that taught people how to move. You had the person that devised the um, was getting patented a water engine to run your car, water to run your car, and then the Dr. Daniels, her medicine. Yeah, oh my God, I'm remembering these. Yeah, see, I'm putting the pieces together. See, I didn't see it that they were all from the same place. They're all from Buffalo, New York. Buffalo, New York. Had quality people there, and they move, but quality people. It's a poor area. It has its challenges, but you have some brilliant people, black people that live there, who is sharing information. And oh yeah, what I was going to say with Dr. Daniels, she was a medical doctor, and she noticed her patients were dying. And she went to Ivy League schools in America, and she wanted to serve her black community. When she got out of medical school, she went back home to her neighborhood and opened up a clinic. She was doing well. She went out ended up doing very well. But she noticed initially a lot of people were dying. And so she went a step forward. She went a step forward to investigate. She thought to herself, hey, during slavery and post-slavery, back in the day, we had our own medical system, of wellness, and we knew certain things. What did people do back then? So she interviewed the older people in her community. She was able to find people in the 80s and 90s. She interviewed them, and they were telling her certain medicines. And no, I'm not a medical doctor. I'm just sharing what this person was sharing, just information. And they had gardens in their backyard. The poorest people had little gardens. And the food, the little gardens that you get, you're not food from your own neighborhood, your area, is stronger. They said that that it seems that the plants could be hardy. You know, the weeds. Some weeds are edible, and they're hardier and they're stronger and they're more vibrant in their nutritional value. And she learned about this particular medicine, again, very controversial, turpentine. These old folks, they use turpentine along with a protocol in using it as a procedure. And she thought, remember that there's a song, "A spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down"? Well, that song is referring to things like turpentine and cod liver oil. So she studied about the effects of this but it's not just any turpentine. It's the pure resin of turpentine. There's some turpentine that's mixed with other stuff, but this is the pure resin. It's like an essential oil of the pine. And she did experiments on herself. And she discovered the medicinal level of it, and she gave a protocol. She discovered the protocol how to administer if you're going to use that as a protocol. There's a whole procedure that she shares on her website. And she also learned that asking the patient, giving them a choice of what type of medicine they want. And she found that, and she shares this in an interview. She's interviewed by this guy, this health guy. It's a white fellow. And you can find that also on YouTube. You probably just type in Dr. Daniels interview, and you'll find it probably. And she shared her story. That's how I found out about her. And about the medicine. And her patients were living. That was what it was all about. Her patients were living. And when the establishment saw that she was no longer giving out the pharmaceuticals, because see, the patient, because they had a choice in medicine, she offered them the traditional, the pharmaceutical choice or the natural remedy. And many of them chose the natural remedy, and they lived. And the establishment got angry with her, and they devised to set her up. And unfortunately, guess what, people? Uh, she explains how she lost her license, her medical license, and then our country, put her on the, I have to spell the word, I hope I spell it right, TERRORIST list, and forbade anyone to hire her in America. I kid you not. They put her on that TERRORIST list. And so she had to move to another country. And she is living in Panama. And she shares her journey of her younger years, her doctor years, and she became a widow, her different stages in life. And right now she's taking a break from the internet, and she's um, um, uh, living, involved with her grandchildren now. So she's taking a breather for a couple of months now. I think she still might be on a break. Yeah, she hasn't posted in months. But even people like her need a break. Even people like her need a break, and have to, like, it was getting to her, everything, because she run a whole course in her life, and now she's a widow, and she's living alone. Her children are grown, And I can tell in the last few videos on her channel, I could tell she was getting stressed. And now she's taking a little break. We all need a break. So, so, so if she needs a break and she's a doctor, I need a break too. You know, we all need breaks. And so, but yeah, so the whole thing is that, yes, there are genetics, but the outside environment, it's called epigenetics, I heard the term epigenetics. And science is really saying it's epigenetics, that the environment contributes, it puts a trigger on certain conditions. And people who are taking these so-called meds, pharmaceuticals, and they get all these other conditions. We have to, take, I mean, yes, I made a mistake about going on that 3-day fast after doing keto diet, which was a no-no. See, I learned the hard way with that. I learned for me, don't do both. Don't do it. So, how do we take care of ourselves? People that, like what Sophia shared, that you follow the regimen and you don't know why your blood pressure is high. And I have someone that I know that's close to me. All of a sudden, they're on blood pressure medicines, and they were kept urinating every 5 minutes. And I think the person's electrolyte, they had to get hospitalized shortly after that, my seeing that person. Yeah, it's very dangerous, people. Very dangerous. And listen to your body. Listen to your body. Pray. Hey, what do I need to do? Wisdom. Give me wisdom. Give me wisdom. What to do to help my family, help myself as it pertains to my health. What food should I eat? You have doctors, there's a medical doctor says, yeah, let me tell you that. This medical doctor talks about that certain foods, vegetables, have components in it called lectins. It's a natural defense that plants have. They're found in seeds. They're found in things like spinach. I love spinach. And other things that we eat all the time, rice. And they can cause havoc to your GI and cause inflammation. Hey, Sophia, if Sophia is still there, Sophia, ask your doctor if you have inflammation going on in your body. Inflammation due to what they call irritable bowel syndrome, IBS. And if you might be sensitive to the thing called, what do you call it? Those irritant, oh God, what's those term? What's the term? Those things that it could irritate the lining of your GI tract. Find out. Start eating those things that don't have those things on it. Oh God, lectins. Yeah, look up the word lectin. I think it's LEC as in cat, T as in Tom, I and as in Nancy. Lectins. Lectins. And look up those things that avoid those plants or those foods that have lectins. I'm wondering, Sophia, whether, again, I'm not a doctor, I'm just sharing information. I'm wondering whether if certain foods that you might be eating and taking for granted, whether they might be contributing to, in the case if you have inflammation going on, check with your doctor if you have inflammation in your body and what could be causing it. And if you're eating those foods, maybe start eliminating those foods from your diet and see what happens if it's affecting your blood pressure. Yeah. Yeah, I hope everything's all right. Wow. What else to talk about? I mean, I've talked about a lot of things already. Okay, this is Sophia. Okay, Sophia says, Spirit, I have had ESR blood tests, and the results vary. I have thought about purchasing a food intolerance. Yes, yes. Food intolerance. Yes. Yeah, do that. Do that because remember, things are being weaponized. Oh God, I wasn't supposed to say that word. Yeah, things are becoming used against you. Uh, and the food. Remember Gates was talking about the big Gates had Bill Gates had purchased all this land. Why is he purchasing? He's a senior citizen. Why does he have to purchase all this land? Is he going to have a organic garden? Or is he making and hoarding the land so you can't grow on it? Why? They're putting GMOs, genetically modified something. GMO. Why are they genetically changing the food? Why are they doing that? Why? Why are they putting these chemicals, these things to kill weeds? Why are they giving animals grain when they eat rice? I mean, grass. Because they altered the grain. If you alter the grain, you alter the animal, and then you eat the animal, right? They are altering the food system. They are altering it. So one good thing about when I did the keto diet, I found you go look do your research, people out there. Um, Try to get your food from small farms that do that don't give hormones. Uh, they don't use pesticides. They eat nature. They eat grass-fed food. They're out there on the plains. Natural living, not artificial living. Get it. Get that food if you could get it. Yeah, I purchased. I purchased the. I didn't do the. I bought the bones. So when I made my broth, I bought their bones. I bought the bones first to see how it tastes and everything. And, oh, it's wonderful, baby. Oh yes, I bought the bones, uh, the grass fed or all natural living. So they say. I'm not there. I don't live on that farm. I'm going by what they advertise. But it'd be good if I go visit these places. Yeah, it's just an alternative. I don't want. I want to get a closer food source. I want to buy wholesome food. And those of you who like, this is very. This is. I have to be very particular how I say this. Um, they have products like, let's say, people who like dairy. Now, it is not lawful to bring in certain dairy products unless it is pasteurized. Do you know what I'm getting at, people? But if you have pets and things like that, you can use it for them, but not for human consumption. People, I'm hinting, read in between the lines. How come if you cook a food, so to speak, if you cook something, uh, don't the enzymes die in it? Don't the food becomes dead. When you heat up something to an ultra high heat, does not that food become lifeless? That food becomes lifeless. So if you're eating dead things, don't you become more dead inside? Just a question. Just a question for my wise viewers out there. Yes. If you eat life, you receive life. If you eat life, you receive life in you. Eat life in you so that you can continue living life. So I felt that during this month, I felt it very strongly. So I was determined this month to break these strongholds over my life. And I asked myself questions. Again, I learned all across the way, I am not a pro. I'm just like you, asking questions. I'm just asking questions. Now, if you if you like dairy, shouldn't you people eat dairy that's alive? They have the enzymes in it. People, they're like what you call raw cheese. Now I found a place that does sell the raw cheese, cultured raw cheese. There's cultured, there is such thing as cultured raw milk. Well, I'm sorry, cultured cream. And there's raw milk with all the enzymes in it. People, let me ask you, people. Back in the day, okay, back in the day, are there any Caribbean people out there? Are there any people out there from Latin America? Are there people out there from Africa? Are there people out there in the equatorial regions of the world? Are there out there that hear this? What did these people do? How do they drink that milk in Afghanistan and Pakistan? Are they heating up that milk to they call it ultra pasteurized in New York. It used to say pasteurized. Now it's ultra pasteurized milk. How much life that food got in it. And then they homogenized the food, the milk. They homogenized the milk. What happens when you ultra anything and then you force it through a fine mesh so that the fat and the liquid part don't separate? You're going to get a chemically changed structure, and your body is going to process that differently. Maybe that's why some people have a hard time digesting the milk. I mean, people of African and Asian descent in general, according to the science, when I went to school, what they said, have a hard time digesting milk. But things like goat milk, I think it's goat milk, it's a little easier. Yeah, like goat cheese. It's a little easier on the system. But why would you take something and heat it up to the ridiculous amount? Why do you need that? Okay, the excuse might say, well, we want to kill the pathogens that in that food. Well, people, who's dying? Does anybody know anybody who's dying because they had whole milk? I mean, back in the day when I was a little girl, we used to get milk, have our milk delivered. And it came in glass initially, and then it came in these giant plastic bags, and it was a machine that it comes in a big machine. Does anyone have it? Yeah, it ran very well for years. I think my parents still have it. Of course, they don't use it, but yeah, it was. They used to process the milk there in Nassau County, right outside New York City. It's like a 10-minute ride there by car, and you had the cows in the back. I remember seeing cows, and they they bottle the milk, and they also have juices there you buy. Yeah, I remember that. I gotta ask them, did they actually get that? Was the cow for show or what? But either way, it was packaged there, the milk. and that you had to shake it. I remember one you had to shake the milk because they separate the milk from the fat in it. Yeah, but now everything is changed. People weren't dying. People weren't dying because they had the milk that separated. So why are they doing it now? They're making everything different now. Now more than ever. I know people. I personally know people. They were healthy as an ox growing up. And now they're allergic. Excuse me. They're allergic to everything. Why? And they all got diabetes. Does anybody else here who's hearing have diabetes, high blood pressure, that's also developing allergies all of a sudden? And sneezing, sneezing, sneezing. I personally know these people, and they have this. I believe. People. You got to look in between the lines with everything. Yes, they're telling us things, just like they told us the past 3 years about this particular thing, and now the information is coming out that they lied about it and hid information. And what's happening, what it looks like. Again, I'm not I don't have a doctorate, but I have common sense that something's up. They changed the milk, yet they take telling kids, drink milk, drink milk, drink milk. You kill the damn milk, in my opinion. It's just my opinion. When you have to ultra heat something, aren't you killing the enzymes? So why do you have to add vitamins to it? Why even have the damn product if you got to add things to it? It's a dead food, and then you restructure it into what you want it to be, dead. If you eat death, you become death. I'm going to repeat it again. You eat death, you become death. So for me, common sense is saying eat life and get life. And so I am determined with my life. Again, I may make mistakes along the way, but I deliberately do not do things knowing that something's going to hurt my body. So I'm cautious about this milk thing, this ultra pasteurized, homogenized milk. And we think a lot of products have milk in it, milk products. And I learned over the month this thing called A1 and A1 and A2. I just heard the term this month when I was scouting around for farmers where you can purchase items like meat and dairy and eggs. And they said that the food has been changing and that there are cows now that have this genetic marker. And it's not, it produces certain component that's harder to digest. And it's genetically in them now. There was a genetic change to them. Look it up, people. A1. A1. It's a protein in that animal, the cows. But they have those A2. And they said that the meat that they use is A2, so it should be A2. So it's does not have, it's more digestible, it has less problems to it. It's more wholesome. And they produce better products, better milk, better cheese, better cream. better meat, people. So why are they doing this? They are altering our genetics. They are altering us. So we become dependent on these pharmaceuticals slash technologies that are making us sick and robotic. So the thing that they seem to that like you look at some people that yes they are alive, but they're zombies and they're on every type of medication. Yeah, they're alive, but no life in them. I don't want to be like them. I don't. And you notice people are getting more violent. Do you notice that? They're on those meds and they're becoming violent. Why is that? Could it be the food? That yeah, the animals and the plants are changing. You know what else with the food? They have it wrapped in this plastic. Evan, no, go out there. I talked about this. Go in the supermarket. Everything's in some type of plastic, and the plastic is leaching into our food. Bill Gates, why don't you stop using the plastics, promoting these plastics? Why can't they devise a safe? See, they want things to be stored almost indefinitely. Yeah. Okay. They want to have the food, they want it on the shelf for a long time so it becomes cheaper. When you have to keep on replacing things, it gets costly. They want it to have a long shelf life. See, they're not talking about community, they're talking about profits. See, back in the day, people lived on farms, people had neighbors, and it wasn't about longevity per se, you know? People had farms. See, they pushed us off of the farms, people. During World War II, most people on the planet lived in rural situations. They grew their food. They understood land. They never had any identity problem. What's a male? What's a female? Now everybody's forced to live in big cities like where I live. And you never see your food source. That food could come from across the ocean. And it has no life in it. They pick it off the food when it's not ripe, and then they synthetically ripen this food with this gas. God, the food. And then they have it in those plastic wrap, and the meat's in plastic, and it's in storage for who knows how long. Well, back in the day, people had a butcher. You heard that term, butcher? Yeah, they slaughtered the animal, right? They hung it up. Okay, so and so, what cut you want? Right? You don't. It's being phased out. And did you hear earlier in the year they have those food processing plants were on fire? And does anyone know what I'm talking about? Does anyone hear me? Please say one for yes that you hear. Put the pieces together. What's going on? Why are the food processing plants in the United States are being put on fire? They don't want those parts. Thank you, Sophia. They don't want the food to be processed in this. They want. I get the impression. Thank you, Sophia. I get the impression that they want to centralize it even further and having less processing plants and maybe one central one and everything in ghastly, thank you, ghastly plastic. They want you so removed and you don't know what you are. See the correlation, people? You see the correlation. You get removed from your land, you forget what life is. You start to forget. And you start to have an identity issue. You start to develop identity issues. You don't know what you are. You're so removed from nature. You don't see fruit on a tree. Even me growing up, we had a peach tree. And what I want to share that's embarrassing. I was afraid to touch the fruit on the tree because it didn't come from a supermarket. And only in supermarkets know what they're doing. Wow, isn't that retarded? Isn't that foolish? Yeah, the tree was sprayed. Yeah, there are a lot of diseases that could happen on fruit trees. I remember that they had these diseases. Plants do get diseases, and they use these. The thing is, they did that. This system. Thank you for the thumbs up. The system knows what those chemicals do. Before you use any chemical, you have to test it out, and they know down the road it causes harm. I heard of Martinique. That's an island in the Caribbean where my grandparents are from. Some of my grandparents were from. And to my surprise, I mean, Martinique, oh, it's amazing. The agriculture, it's on volcanic rock. It's a small island. Very rich soil, but guess what? Guess what, France? It's a French island. It's a part of France. It's an overseas department of France, Martinique. Well, it turns out that they have bananas, girl. They have banana plantations. They have plantations you wouldn't believe. Big ones. Unbelievably humongous. And they sprayed it with this chemical. And guess what? It's carcinogenic. And mostly men work on the plantations. And yes, they develop, um, what do you call it? The testicular, it could be testicular or a prostate cancer. But it's attributed to the uh, insecticide that they use on those bananas. Yeah, and I visited that island twice, and I went on a I'm sorry, a banana plantation, and I saw, that after they pick it, they have the little bananas in this soapy solution. I'm wondering. I mean, they're really into agriculture there, but I was dumbfounded to find out that they used pesticides and things, and it's killing the population there. I heard it in a video on YouTube. Oh yeah, I'm so disappointed. I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, the rich land, but they come on. What the foolishness? See that it's about profits and an agenda, an agenda, and to not protect those poor men that was picking those, working on those fields, banana fields. You could have at least protected them. But they're dying. And so the women are dying too because, they have relationships with the guy, their partner who works there, and then they get it. It's a lack of respect for the food. But my mention story is that people lived in close connection to the land. And they understood nature. They understood the cycles of nature. and they were in harmony, and they didn't require that foolishness of these pesticides that and to make things to kill you. See, it's all about profits. If you want to live, you got to go with the flow of nature. You got to be a friend of nature. You want to be a stubborn, wealthy person, uh, disrespect the planet. Well, you know the planet is going to spit you out eventually. It will spit you out eventually if you don't respect the land. You got to respect this system. But they're trying to take over and change the system. It's changing life itself. It won't survive. It will not survive. It will not thrive. And that's what the movie The Matrix, the first one, was all about. They weren't thriving. They were just existing. I don't want to just exist. I want to thrive and be connected to the land. I want to eat food. I mean, I have a the other reason why I mentioned about Martinique. I have an ancestor. I have the picture. If I can find the picture on my device, I took the picture on my device. If I find the picture, I'll show you and prove to you my ancestor's age. She died in the 1970s. And she was 107 years old. And she's in the photo, and in her smile, because it's a small town. The island, it's a small place. I mean, it's congested, the island, but it's a small townships. And they were celebrating that she reached 100, 107 in this case. And she has her younger sister, next to her. I don't know how old her younger sister was. Who knows? Maybe she was 100. I don't know. But yeah, she's in there too. And niece are there. She never got married and no children. Like I said, single women, no kids, live the longest. But anyways, what did she eat? Did she eat GMO food? Did she eat homogenized and ultra pasteurized milk? No, she probably ate her fish and a little rice, right? A little veggie. That's probably what she ate. Not really, really practical food. Nothing complicated. She was slim also. She was relatively slim. Yeah. And she looked alert in the picture. Yeah, she was sitting up. Yeah, she did look old, to be honest. She did look old. But yeah, she looked like she was alert. And I think about that ancestor. And when I was doing that 3-day fast, which was not wise for me to do because I was doing keto priorly, I said, I want to live to that age or more. Yes, I did say that. I said, how about 120 years of age? 120. I said, I'm not ready. I'm not ready to die. I want to thrive. I want another chance in life because I feel I could have done more in life. I had a lot of things that happened to me in life, but I want to really push forward. I want to travel. I want to eat off of my land. I don't own land. No land. I would love to grow uh, vegetables or, wholesome food. Remember a couple of years back, maybe 6 years ago, I did a video. I, I tried to grow watermelon in my apartment. Yeah, I did. I bought what do you call a plant line. I tried to grow vegetable. I did grow peppers, hot peppers. But some things, people, what did that tell me? Uh, Go outside and plant those seeds. Don't try to grow watermelon in your apartment. It ain't gonna go far. Even with the plant line, it only grew like the best it did was maybe 3 or 4 inches, and that was it, people. Go to that land. It needs the proper light, the air, everything. If people were connected to the land, I don't think we'll be as violent. People, remember the term city slicker? A city slicker and a country boy, right? The country boy was laid back, you know, social, and the city slicker was an anal retentive prick, right? Which one you want to be? The city slicker was removed. He thought he was hot shot because he doesn't have his hand in the on the plow. He thought it was cool because he had to wear a suit, and and not wear a jeans and a t-shirt. See, vanity is killing us. The vanity, the vanity of having to wear all this cake makeup. I wore makeup when I was growing up. When I was just starting out, I was 17, 18 years old, and I wanted to feel like a grown up. I was entering college. I got my first job. Yeah, I put on makeup. But I didn't like how the foundation, I didn't like that. But now, on and off, lipstick. Lipstick is better choice, for me. Just wear lipstick, if anything. But we're becoming plastic. So we walk around, it's like a cake on. I mean, I'm being real. You ever think they want to coat you with this makeup? What's in that makeup? What's it doing to your body? Look at the nail polish. They're getting real fancy with nail polish now. They have this thing called a tiger eye nail polish. Yeah, I just was walking and saw this thing, a tiger eye effect with the nail polish. And women are wearing, okay, that's probably my dog out there. Heard something outside. My dog is probably walking around. Yeah, the nail polish. Start wondering about these trends. People are doing all these trends. Why? Why are they becoming so popular? Nail polish. What's in that nail polish? Honey, these women take off those acrylics. Their nail bed. Look at that nail bed. Don't you ever wonder what it's doing to your and they have you put your hand in this machine that cures the nail polish so it gets hard and dry right away. Don't you wonder whether that thing's going to give you cancer in the long run? You put your hand, and then your hand look like an old lady's all of a sudden. Don't you wonder why? What's it causing? To have so-called beautiful nails? People, people. You got to start thinking. And you tell those people who are still online here or hear me, you better go to your friends with those nail polish things and say, hey, uh, those nail polish got toxins. It's getting in your blood. Your nail bed, the top part of the nail, what they call the nail bed, is porous. Don't you think the chemicals that's in that thing is getting into your body? What do you think it's doing? You ever wonder why? You notice also the women are wearing these hair pieces, these hair weaves. They're getting real sophisticated and putting, having these weaves almost look like a real hair. Don't you people? Don't you wonder why, to such a high degree, why we're getting so more removed from the natural? I mean, nothing wrong with want to beautify yourself, but don't you wonder, see the correlation, what's happening to our food and what's happening now to your body? And they have this thing, you have to put something on the top of your head and requires glue and all this other stuff and pulling on the scalp. Don't you think it's going inside your brain? You don't think? Yeah, you ever see some of the videos of the women that go crazy at a chicken place because someone gave them the wrong order and they go berserk? What do you see on their head? What do you have them? They're wearing this funny looking pink or green hair. Look at it. Look at all the videos with the women in the chicken places, fast food joints, and what they're wearing. Start noticing, people. Start noticing. There's something happening, and it's getting them crazy. I think, yeah, and cancers also. You have women that where the glue was, where it's attached to, they develop cancer at those spots. Don't you think that these chemicals might be altering your body and causing you inflammation and possibly high blood pressure? And possibly with the high blood, a rising cortisol, which is going to affect your insulin and blood levels? People, do you see the correlation? Does anybody hear me? Do you hear what I'm saying? Does it make sense? Do you start noticing, putting pieces together? Behavior changes. And what you're doing, your lifestyle. People putting breast implants. That's a plastic, and it's leaking. And it's causing inflammation. Butt jobs, causing inflammation. See that? See that, people. It's not right. It's not right. And they're hurting you. They are hurting you. You think a woman living on that farm, close to nature, the animals, the trees and all that, you think she's preoccupied with getting a butt job or fake eyelashes? Look what they put in those. They have metallic eyelashes. They use this liquid eyeliner which is magnetized, and then they put the eyelashes on top of it, and it stays on. Don't you think those the metallic glue thing is getting in the eye and it's going to cause you harm? You don't think so, people? You don't think that's affecting you? Look at it. Look at the trends and look who's wearing it and look how they're acting. Don't they act funny? Are these people that have any intelligence? Look at them. I run away from people that no way. No way. And more bizarre, I even went to the farmer's market and I saw this lady and she had tattoos, these weird freaky tattoos on the face, like these lines, like that going across her eyes on the top and the bottom. But I looked on her arm, something, she looked crazy. She was a young girl, looked like in her 20s, and I noticed she was wearing short sleeves, and I noticed she had multiple scars, like when someone's trying to commit suicide. They slit the arm. She did hers um, uh, horizontal, not vertical, not lengthwise. A lot of them, all on the like on the I think you call the forearm. Just below the elbow on the top. All these slashes. This chick tried to either what you call body mutilation, self mutilation, or she was trying to commit suicide. I know about the one like when around your wrist when you slit your wrist, but she did. Wow, people. Sorry, the focus, people, and she's at a farm at a market selling food. I'm not going to buy from her. I don't know. I don't remember what she was selling, but I did not want to buy from her. No. Be careful who you buy from. They look freaky. Do not buy from them. You think they're going to care? They don't care about their own life. You think they're going to care about the product that they serve, whatever what it is? No way. I just saying, people start noticing what's happening to people's bodies, people's health, what's happening, and what it's causing us, and especially blacks here in New York City. I mean, every city has its victims, but sometimes the victims become participants. I think some of us here are participants, and some of us just lost their mind. They just need help. They need intervention badly, badly, badly. Yeah, I've been talking a lot now. I've been talking a lot. I didn't know I was going to talk about all these things. And I knew there was something else that I wanted to talk about, but I forgot what I wrote in the people who are still there. I forget, I know I already talked about my health thing that I talked about, but there was, yeah, I think it's a general conversation in health, but I thought it was something else. But I can't think of anything else that I wanted to say. But I got the main thing out there. Uh, get your food. Do your research and explore. I think things are going to get more intense, but um, I want to be at peace with my health. If you do the best you can, you do the best. And if mistakes happen along the way, you're bound. We are all bound to make mistakes, and I made a big one this week doing the keto and then following up with a 3-day fast was disastrous for me. And so I have to build up my strength and everything and um, uh, eat, eat my diet, incorporate, get out of the ketosis. I had ketosis. Um, so I have to get out of ketosis and eat a blending of food, different, protein, fats, and carbs. You know, um, where had to go? Yeah, protein, carbs, and yeah. So explore different methods of getting a healthy food source. If you have property, try to grow some stuff. Grow your food. I also was told that there are places where you can get chickens. I know someone told me about a place in the Bronx. I mean, that's far from me. But someone also told, when I was going to the hospital, I was honest with the driver. Hey, how you doing? He was a friendly driver. And I told him what was happening. He says, hey, will I get my food? You can buy your meat locally in Astoria, Queens. They butcher the animal right there. And they said you have to pay a little more, but you choose what you want. The animal's right there. It's fresh. It's not in plastic or this or that. So, well, what my question is, what type of diet it had, But see, it's an alternative because we're getting meat from who knows all these funky places. I remember a couple of years back, they had the mad cow disease. They were taking cows from all different sources, and when you had one diseased animal and you mixed the meat with other meats, they all got contaminated and they didn't know so they had to destroy all the cows. Remember that was some years back. Mad cow disease, they had to destroy all the cows. So, but if something is local, it's not being cross-contaminated, the meat. It's right there. And you purchase. Yeah, I'll look at, I want to look into that. I want to look into these farms. They have, because see, in New York City, you have a growing number of North African, people, Islamic people from, what do you call it? Rural, from rural backgrounds, they grow their food and stuff. They want to maintain their food and lifestyle, So they have their own cows because they has to be halal, I think a halal, there's kosher and halal, so they grow their own meat. And then you also have the Hispanics that have that do the rituals, the Santeria thing, and so they have their chickens, and they kill. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to, I'm not trying to be funny, but this is what it is. And so I could possibly consider those places. If I want to continue getting the dairy, I'm not going to get the homogenized anymore. I'm going to go to the farms, and you can order online. That's what I'm going to say. You can order these foods online. They deliver, and you can get some of the products. But if I can get some, it's in a state next to mine. But if I could get something, if they can deliver from New York City, I don't want to go far out of the, but going on the trains is very dangerous right now. It's very dangerous. I don't want it. So I want to find out where they are. And yeah, I'll try to ask around if I meet an Arab, North African person, or where I can get the the goat, or all this stuff, and get some meat, get some fresh meat. You're gonna be fresh, and put in the freezer. Yeah, yeah. Investigate your health. Investigate. Start noticing what these people look like and how they're acting. What are they wearing? What's on their head? What's on their nails? Etc. What do they have on their skin? Are they acting bizarre? Why are we, do you have friends or family, relatives? And do you notice that all of a sudden that their health seems, why is all of a sudden their blood pressure is going up? What's happening? Start noticing and take steps to find out. Your life may depend on it. Okay? So yeah, if I'm just about to close this interview. Let me show you again. I'm going to this book. If you're a woman out there, this is called Metabolic Renewal Roadmap. I got it in the mail, but I didn't read it yet. I started reading it last night by Dr. Jade Teta. You can go on the website, and he teaches about with women. A lot of the women, like, you ever notice like a woman keeps exercising, but they get all fat? You ever go in the park, you see the same fat lady, and they never lose fat weight? You ever wonder why? Well, when a woman exercises more and more and more, especially if she's middle age and postmenopausal, you get fat. It's considered stress, and you create more cortisol in your body, and the cortisol would trigger a stress response, and you will not lose weight. And your A1C might go up. You're going to get fatter. So, yeah, a woman's body, the health field is really geared for men. The science that the data that they got from for the health is from young men, young college-age men. The science is based on them. It's not based on someone like me, some 60-year-old black woman. It's based on a young, usually young white males in college that are healthy. They're not considering that other people are women. And women's bodies and men's bodies respond differently to stress. I'm not trying to sound sexist or biased against any gender. We are different. It's okay to be different. It's okay to be a male or a female. Our bodies run differently. It's okay to be a strong woman and a strong man. I'm just saying that we're not men. I'm a woman. And certain things work differently and has to be considered. And the science has to be there. Now, this guy been working in the field for 30 years. He said he's been in the field for 30 years, and most of his clients, 75% of them, were women. But the men don't want to come in because they don't want to go in. Okay? he talks about the metabolism of a woman and different things to consider when you're doing exercise. And so I'm hoping that I don't have to go on a keto diet anymore. The ketosis almost, could have killed me the other day. And that's also why I'm sharing this video and sharing what my experiences are, and so you don't have to go through it. And certain things you got to consider. So I want to continue reading the book. He's discussed certain things, and a methodology of what type of exercise design for you in mind. And not to say, it sounds like, oh, you're being sexist, I want to be like the man and do what his exercise. But the way we do it with our food regimen and the intensity, our bodies work differently. Men have testosterone, and when they do their exercise, the more they do it, it builds up the testosterone. We don't have testosterone, so it doesn't happen. And as you get older, if you're a woman, your estrogen decreases and your cortisol, your stress hormone increases, and you start to get that belly fat. And no matter how many crunches you do, you don't seem to reduce that belly fat. I was developing that belly fat. I mean, I'm considered slim, but I still was getting a little belly in the front, and my A1C increased, my blood pressure increased. What was the other thing? Blood pressure, my cholesterol increased. And my family is plagued with diabetes and everything else that brings along. So I felt I had to do something. So I want to share you all this information, and you process it as you like, and do your own research. Be your doctor, so to speak, and investigate to try to solve your health problems. Ask questions to doctors. And if you make a mistake, okay, you correct it. I made a mistake. And so I have to correct it. I have to find out what will be working safely for my body. And we're also part of communities. What community do you live in? A rhetorical question. You live in a community. You have neighbors. You have people in school. You have people on the job. You have people on the train or whatever where you live, or the bus. And we're all going through things. And it seems like what we're going through is intensifying physically and mentally. Let's do our homework. Let's find out what we can do to help one another and ourselves, okay? I am very thankful that I have the opportunity to do this video. I'm going to make sure I get my breakfast now, because yes, the high spirit, yeah. I mean, thank you, Spirit. Have a lovely day. Yes, it's always a pleasure to hear from you, Sophia. Peace, love, and joy to you. I'm going to get up, um, get some food ready, and want to stay healthy. I'll keep in contact, But again, I don't want, yeah, I stay in contact and let you know what's going on with me and with society. And until next time, okay? Peace, love, and joy to you all. See you.